Guys, 10 minutes by 5 here in London, so let's have a look at the different moves in the market for the day. Starting with oil. So last night we had the API at 9:30, and we've seen in the headlines, so for crude, drawdown of minus 9.2 million, biggest drawdown since September 2016. So if we have a look at crude oil here on my chart, a bit of further move to the upside at the European Open, so 8 o'clock here, tested the high of yesterday, and then started consolidating around this area. And then, as you know, we had the DOE at 3:30 this afternoon, and we've seen the US production rising by 0.84% compared to last week. And if we have a look at the different data into more details, let me just transition the screen here. As you can see, crude, we had a drawdown 8.9 million, Cushing a small build 678, gasoline a build of 22k, and then distillate a build of 702. So very volatile reaction in the market at around 3:30, as you can see here on my chart. And then 30 minutes after that, at around 4 o'clock, we've seen oil breaking below the pivot all the way down to S1. So this is for oil. If we have a look at what happened this morning in the pound, because you had some job-related data released at 9:30. So let me just make this chart a bit bigger here. 9:30 this morning. Let me just draw ellipse here. So we've seen this move in the pound. Let me just go back to the screen. So we've seen this move in the pound this morning at 9:30, following a positive job report for the UK. So all the 4 readings, which were claim on counts, average earnings, and unemployment rate, beating the expectation. If we go into more details, let me just transition the screen again here. So claim on count, we were expecting 3.7, we had minus 4.2 thousand. So the lower the number, the more positive it is for the pound here and for the UK economy. Unemployment rate dropped to 4.4%, we were expecting 4.5. And then average earnings, expecting 2%, we had a slight beat, 2.1%. So these 3 numbers, all better than expected. Reaction to the upside seen in the pound at 9:30. Moving on into the euro. This morning at 10 o'clock, you had the GDP reading for the European area. So let me just go back to the chart. The euro chart in here. So 10 o'clock this morning, you had GDP for the euro quarter on quarter in line with expectations, so 0.6%, and then year on year a bit of expectation. Expectation was for a reading of 2.1%, and we had 2.2, which is the highest reading since the end of 2011. So strong reaction in the euro seen this morning at 10 o'clock. These 2 candles here. Finally, if we have a look at the equity market, finished on a positive note for the session, as you can see here on my DAX chart, up 100 points since the open this morning, and then the S&P as well, trading above the R1 level, up 9 points for the session. So the equity market still continuing their recovery from the sell-off that we seen last week, related to the tensions between Donald Trump and North Korea. And since last weekend, we haven't had any new news related to these tensions. So then the equity market recovering to the upside, the setup that we seen last week. In terms of the calendar for tomorrow, let me just get the calendar here. So tomorrow morning, so overnight in Australia, we just transitioned the screen. You had some information about employment change, unemployment rate. So 2:30 London time here. Tomorrow morning you have the unemployment rate for France. And then tomorrow 9:30 o'clock, you have the UK retail sales. So as you know, UK economy relies more than 70% on the services. So UK retail sales, tier 1 data. So likelihood of this one moving the pound, really high. So good opportunities might occur tomorrow morning at 9:30 of this data. And then pretty quiet until we have the US market to come in, and you have initial jobless claim 1:30 and Philly Fed manufacturing index at 1:30 as well. And you have some reading at 2:15 industrial production, manufacturing production for the US. And for those trading the natural gas, you have the weekly inventories at 3:30. So I hope you all had a good day, and then enjoy your evening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.